What is happening, all you minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and as promised, today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 DC Omnis for new readers. So, please stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Now, before I get started on this list, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? We put out videos every day. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon and Redbubble. Those are great ways to support the channel if you can do so. And thank you to our existing patrons. You guys make videos much like this possible. So, before we get started, really quick, there's got to be some rules. Just like the Marvel Omnis, these books have to be in print as of this video. And it makes it a little bit harder with DC because there's 3 different distribution centers. While it might be out of print at comic book stores, maybe Amazon will still have it, or Cheap Graphic Novels. As a matter of fact, there's a book in here that I think Cheap Graphic Novels is the only one that still has. So, that's something to keep in mind. And it has to be as of this video. It can't be 3 years from now when people are like, wait, I thought you said that this was still in print. Sorry, my dude. Had to be when this video was announced. The other thing I was going to say is this list was pretty difficult because of that limitations. Because a lot of the Batman Omnis are out of print and a lot of the Superman Omnis are out of print. And I was going to suggest something like Injustice, but then I thought about it, and Injustice is an alternate reality, and I want people, new readers, to become more familiar with the characters, the classic characters. So that's why I didn't include it, even though totally honorable mention, by the way. Injustice is wonderful. And I think it's still in stock through Penguin Random House. So, let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. Now, again, this list is not a countdown. It's not my least to favorite or my favorite to least. So, let's go ahead and get started with this book right here. This is Aquaman by Geoff Johns and Ivan Reyes. One of those is right, I think. But anyway, this is a wonderful collaboration in a new universe. This is the New 52 universe. The entire story of Aquaman wasn't retcon. It's not starting over fresh. But it gives new readers a great jumping on point to get to know the character of Arthur, all his supporting cast, his main villains that always play a role no matter what incarnation he's in. And the artwork is freaking phenomenal. They took a lot of aspects of this for the Aquaman movie with Jason Momoa, but you know, he doesn't look anything. Arthur doesn't really look anything like Jason Momoa. He's clean cut, blonde hair, blue eyes. But man, this story will make you an Aquaman fan. And I realize there are stories that I like more, such as Peter David's story of Aquaman. But I think this is wonderful for new readers. And it's Geoff Johns. It's where you want to start. Next up is Superman Batman Omnibus. This is the run that was kickstarted by Jeff Loeb and Ed McGuinness. Eventually, Mark Verheyen then took over the run, but you have phenomenal art, like I mentioned, Ed McGuinness, you have Michael Turner, Rob Liefeld, Ethan Van Sciver, Carlos Pacheco, just to name a few of the artists that took over this book. But the book is just fun. If you enjoy the animated series of Batman and Superman or Justice League, this is the best place to start, I think, for a comic book reader. Like, if you enjoyed all those stories, I think this is the most cartoonish that these two characters have been outside of the run. They're wonderful stories, and they're all kind of self-contained, even though there's other things happening in the DC universe. You won't be that confused. But this is a wonderful jumping on point for those people that are new to both Superman and Batman, and you get both aspects of the story just within this omnibus. Flash by Geoff Johns and Scott Collins mainly on artwork. Spoilers, this is not the last time you're going to see Geoff Johns' name on this list. It's not my fault the man, I hold him in high regards, and it's not my fault that he is good at what he does, and that is make you care about the characters, the supporting characters, and the villains. It's a hard task to do, but Geoff Johns made the rogues in Flash just as memorable as all of the Bat villains that everybody has come to love, or all the Spider-Man villains. He put a lot of these C, B, D list villains and made them just top tier for people like me. To me, I compare this run, reading it after work, like I would come back home and reading Uncanny X-Men or New Teen Titans. It was so fresh and new to me. And the Omnibus is back in print with a Volume 2 coming out in 2021. So I think while it's still in print, please get it. Do yourself a favor. It's a little bit of a slow burn at first, but once you get into it, damn, are you going to be... I hope you'll be thanking me that I suggested this one. Hellblazer by Garth Ennis Omnibus. Now, I've done an overview on this omnibus, so you've seen artwork in here from mainly Steve Dillon. The run started off with Jamie Delano, but that has now been collected in an omnibus format. This is actually the only Hellblazer omnibus we have. But it's both a double-edged sword, because to me, it is the best Hellblazer that I've ever read. And it's the only omnibus, so that means when you're done reading it and you want to read more, yes, absolutely, there's a bunch of other creators you can go and read. But I don't think they're as good as this. This will make you get hooked on the character of John Constantine, find out what makes him tick, find out what his weaknesses are, such as aging in real time, and once you read it, you will thank me. I'm going to sneak in a honorable mention with this one too, because I have the absolutes, I don't have the omnibus, and that's another rule of this list, is that I have to have the omnibus. But go and get Preacher if you've never read Preacher. Preacher is just freaking phenomenal. It's just as good as this. But this, if you want to get into Constantine, if you're a fan at all of the TV show or the movie with Keanu Reeves, or any of the animated show, or seen his appearances in recent comics like Justice League Dark, do yourself a favor and check this one out. Next up is Harley Quinn by Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti. This is the run that started off in the New 52. But again, much like Aquaman, there were already things that existed about Harley Quinn. It's not like a fresh start, but it's a good jumping on point to get to know the character, what she's about, all the little things that you may have liked in the... well, I don't know if you like the Birds of Prey movie or Suicide Squad. But how about the cartoon? All the things that you enjoyed about the cartoon technically come from the run. Yes, there were previous runs, like Kessel's run. She was created by Dini. But this is the run that I think is the Harley Quinn that we have now. She's the character that breaks the fourth wall. She's the character that is insane, and you never know where she's going to go, but she has a lot of heart. And what her ties are with the Joker nowadays. This is all in continuity. There is a total of 3 of these Omnis available. They're all still in print, but I think Volume 1 gives you an idea of what her character is like. I think Amanda Connor does an amazing job. And the artwork is really, I think the artwork really pops. It's very cartoony, but it fits the tone of the book. At this moment, I just want to remind you all to smash that like button if you haven't yet, and ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. You damn right we're not done with Geoff Johns. This is Green Lantern, the best jumping on point for the character. I'm a fan of Kyle Rayner. That is my Green Lantern I grew up with. But Geoff Johns restored that faith in Hal Jordan. So this is all of his run. There's a series of 3 of these Omnis. There's a Blackest Night Omnibus. Not, unfortunately, one of Green Lantern Corps, but this is the main run. This kicks off with Green Lantern Rebirth, with Geoff Johns writing it and Ethan Van Sciver drawing it and bringing back the character. Then we get artists like Carlos Pacheco, Ivan Reyes again, and this takes us all the way into the Sinestro Corps War. This is DC superheroes at its best. This is such an amazing run. If you stayed away from the Cosmic Saga because there's so much of it, this is such a good way to introduce you in small dosages at first, and then you see this universe, this Cosmic Saga just expand. Before you know it, you'll be saying the Green Lantern Oath and talking about different sectors like Sector 3614 or 2518, but whatever it is, you'll be talking that language because of Geoff Johns and his books. And damn it, you believe me, I wanted to put Infinite Crisis on this list, but it's not fair to new readers to jump them into a crisis. Like, yes, I realized that my first DC comic book was Crisis on Infinite Earths number 8, but I don't feel like that's fair for new readers, especially now that we live in the collected editions age. But we're not done with Geoff Johns. We've got another one soon. I don't hear anyone talk about this book. This is HeMan and the Masters of the Universe. This is the huge omnibus. I read this damn thing in a week, and it's a big book because it was so fun. Yes, it throws back to the days of my childhood watching He-Man Saturday mornings, but it's so much more than that because it's a fresh start. You don't need to know anything about the characters. I mean, yes, if you're familiar with He-Man, She-Ra, Skeletor, and all those characters, it helps, but this is a new vision of them. It's re-envisioning all your old favorite cartoon characters in a new way, in a new, deadlier way at some points. The stories are done by Keith Giffen. Pop Man does a lot of the artwork. So there's some really heavy hitters on talent on this. And I don't hear enough people talk about this book. it's just fun. It's really good. The only thing that's missing from this omnibus is the Injustice versus HeMan book. And that's available in oversized hardcover. But, you know, this is a big book, and I realize it's expensive, and it's a lot to read, but I think it is well worth it, especially for new readers trying to get into a new comic book. And if you're a fan of the TV show, whether it was the original series in the 80s or the 2001 series, was there another one just that came out? Oh no, The New Adventures of He-Man, like in 87. Oh, that was horrible. But anyway, or 89. But anyway, if you're a fan of any of those and have not read comics, I think this is a good segue to get you hooked on comics. Now, this is one I get asked about every week. This is Scott Snyder's Batman, and he is joined by Greg Capullo. This is one I get asked about every week because everybody thinks it's out of print. It's not. It is still available through Penguin Random House, so that means Cheap Graphic Novels still has copies of it. Maybe Amazon, I'm not really sure, but it is still in print. So, man, do yourself a favor and check it out. I think this is a great jumping on point for Batman. It's a good new start. This kicks off with the New 52 run, even though for some reason DC didn't include Batman Black Mirror, and I completely get that because that was a different Batman, and spoilers, I can't talk about that. But this is the run that a lot of people got hooked on Batman. It brought a lot of old readers back to reading Batman. You know, there's this whole debate of who's better, Tom King or Scott Snyder. I think most people would probably go with Scott Snyder that have been reading Batman for a long time. Newer readers seem to lean towards Tom King a little more. That's just something I've noticed. Me, I'm kind of waiting for Tom King to wrap up his run because I don't think he's quite done, because I think there's a Batman Catwoman run. But anyway, this comic series was amazing. We've done an old reader, new reader on it. The artwork is freaking stellar. To me, this is the better half. There is a second omnibus. I hope that comes out someday. There's no announcements as of this video, but the first half is so freaking awesome. You will be hooked into the mystery of all the things that are happening in Gotham, all the things that should have been in your face, just like Bruce Wayne. You will be like, oh, why didn't I see that coming? It's a wonderful take on Batman. And the artwork, like I said, is top-notch, stellar. I couldn't imagine anybody else drawing this run besides Greg Capullo. And Danny Mickey. Danny Mickey is the inker, too. No unsung heroes here. Next up, Doom Patrol by Grant Morrison. Not even gonna lie. Just putting it out there. If Animal Man was still in print, the omnibus, I would have suggested that by Grant Morrison. But Doom Patrol, I think, is one of my other favorite stories from Grant Morrison. If you're a fan at all of X-Men, if you've enjoyed the Doom Patrol TV series on HBO that's coming out now, or if you're a fan of Umbrella Academy, the newer series, all the quirkiness, all those slapstick kind of heroes and villains that you see in those really come from this. Well, with the exception of X-Men, right? X-Men was its own thing. But I meant if you're a fan of X-Men, you like characters that have weird powers, and you have a mentor that should or should not be trusted. Anyway, very similar to X-Men, especially his new X-Men run, of course, so I had to make that connection. But Doom Patrol has all these wonderful characters that just don't say A-level characters to you. They don't look anything like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. They are known as the world's strangest heroes for a reason. Omnibus that's available, there's a John Byrne omnibus, but I think this is a better jumping on point for you to understand the characters. There was about 18 issues that happened before this, and of course the Arnold Drake series, but this to me is top-notch, the best Doom Patrol that I've ever read. And the reason I'm recommending it to a lot of you new readers is because you don't have to know anything in the past that has happened in the Doom Patrol, or anything afterwards, really, because a lot of the stories wrap up in here. A lot of the villains, everything that happens within these pages kind of has a nice wrap up, for the most part. Last, but no way in hell, certainly not least, JSA by Jeff Johns, Omnibus Volume 1. Now, I realize that Volume 2 is out of print, but if I ever get in touch with anybody new at the Collected Editions department, that's going to be one of my biggest pushes, is to make sure that Volume 2 comes back into print, because Volumes 1 and 3 are in print. This, to me, is the best superhero story I've read at DC. It is wonderful. There's a lot of heartbreaking moments in here. There's a lot of hell yes moments in here. It is Jeff Johns, like I mentioned. It would not be the last time you saw his name, and there are 4 books in here by him, but I don't care. It's just me speaking honestly from my heart. I think that this is a great jumping on point. And it's a great jumping on point because it's not your mainstream superheroes that you're reading about, right? You're talking about Golden Age heroes in this book. You're talking about characters like Our Man, Sandman, the original Sandman, not Morpheus, the Atom. All those characters come back at the beginning of this, and then there's a new lineage. There's a new legacy of characters that come through here. Stargirl, oh my gosh, Starman. Anyway, if you've never read this, do yourself a favor, check it out. I know it's available digitally. Most of these are available digitally, so if you want to check them out that way or through a cheap trade paperback, you're more than welcome to do that. I just suggest these Omnis because I know a lot of you are collectors. You like big books. You like reading it all at once like I do, and that's why I suggested these. But yes, this is a great series. They're Golden Age characters, but you're not bogged down at all by 60 plus years of continuity. Jeff Johns really makes you feel like you're reading these characters for the first time, and they've always been a part of your life, and that is the best way I can describe his writing. Like, he makes you feel like these characters have always been there. You've always known their stories, and it gets no better to me than JSA. Oh man, I could break just this one volume down for hours. Maybe we should do an old reader, new reader on it. It's wonderful. So do yourself a favor, and if any of these, check JSA Volume 1. Now, all of these are still available from our sponsor,
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for brand new graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off the cover price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on packaging your books so they arrive safely and in excellent condition, as well as prompt and helpful service. And check out their bargain bin for even greater deals up to 90% off cover price. And for you Minties, Cheap Graphic Novels is running a special promotion. If you're a first-time customer, let them know you were referred by Near Mint Condition at the checkout, and you'll receive a credit for free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discounts, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was my top 10 list. I know everybody has an opinion, so please leave your top 10, your top 5, your 1 you would add it, 1 you would have taken away, 3 you would have taken away, 10 you would have taken away from the list, and add your own. Love to know all those comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Patreon, Redbubble, great ways to support the channel. If you have any more questions about any of these stories or Omnis, please leave those questions in the comments down below. I do a Q&A every Saturday when I can't get to all the questions, so that's another thing, and that is at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, thank you again for watching. More importantly, please everybody stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.